You're absolutely right.
Where my girls at?
Okay,
Where my
sounds
girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We ain't linked up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
Hey, you guys, we're glad you're with us on Facebook. We're super glad. How you doing? We're going to start this in any second now, so we're glad you're here with us. We're going to have a great show. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the topics that we come up with? We're excited to bring you this topic. Black, white, doesn't matter. Maybe, maybe not. We're going to talk about it, and I hope that you guys clue in with us as we have this topic.
all right, all right, all right. It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It's a wet Wednesday here in the D. It is good and wet, but that's all right, because you know what? When I'm with my girls, they bring the sunshine, they bring the light, the laughter, the love, and the lessons. Yes, yes, yes. You know it. You're tuned in to We Got Issues on 9:10 a.m., the Superstation. And I am so excited, you guys. Can you believe this is our 3rd month anniversary? Get excited. 3 months. 3 months that we have made it. And I am so excited that you guys have been with us, and we continue to be powerful, but not Pollyannish. And so again, you are listening to 9:10 a.m., the Superstation. And you guys, I'm so excited about our topic on today. Of course, there's a lot going on, but you know what? The topic on today is one that I know so many of you are going to want to lean into. So I'm telling you, we're going to be talking about interracial relationships. So we want you to call your family, call your friends, call your friends that you know are dating interracially, those that are married, and tell them to come and join in the conversation. They, of course, can call us at 313-778-7600. We want to hear their opinion. We want them to voice it right here on We Got Issues. So the question is love black or white, or is it colorblind? What? Is it black, white, or is it color blind? Well, you guys, there's so much that's going on in our country and around the world. And before I throw it over to my girlfriends, of course, they are here. I'm looking at their beautiful faces. And just know that you can also download the 9:10 a.m. Superstation app, and you can watch us live on the Force of Friendship Facebook page or on 9:10's Facebook page as well. Well, girlfriend, so much is going on in our country. You know, I turned on the news today to see about the shootout between the 14-year-old and 12-year-old in Florida. I mean, when I tell you, it is just so disheartening. It is just so sad that, you know, gun violence continues to find its way all over the country, and this time in the hands of a 12-year-old and 14-year-old. You know, you guys, they ran away from a facility. The police were looking for them. They broke into somebody's house that had an AK-47 shotgun, and they literally got into a shootout with the police. And so the one young lady, 14-year-old, we need to pray for her. She's in critical condition because she got shot. The young Man, only 12 years, a teenager, only 12 years old.
Barely.
He was not injured, but it's just a sad day when our children are, in a shootout with authority. So let's keep those two lifted. And so my co-host on today is here all the way. We're going to throw it to her to the West Coast. What's going on, Caterina Harris Earl?
Oh, I am doing good. No rain over here, but you know what? If we don't get some rain soon, guess what? We are going to be in a drought. Like literally. They're talking about collecting water where you have to go down and take your truck, and like they were going down collecting gas. You had to go down to the potable water if you want to water your grass. So I'm one of the few people, so many people here in California have gotten rid of their grass, and I like my grass. But I'm telling you, Chris, I didn't turn the TV on today, and it's like every day you miss something.
Every day
You miss something, and just real interesting. Sometimes it's good for your mental health to not turn it on. So the one other thing that was hot is, you know what? I was getting ready to invest in that AMC stock and didn't, and it went through the roof. I want to know who made some money in the audience. AMC stock went through the roof. Stay woke, y'all.
Wow.
Money to be made because everybody's out. It's just like pandemic who, pandemic what. So, and that contributes to these the craziness of the shootings, I know as well. So I am passing it on to, they said you were looking Florida fly, Chris, Gloria. Millicent said you're looking Florida fly.
Yes. It is Winning Wednesday. Winning Wednesday.
Don't get it twisted. You said Chris's name. She's like, they didn't say Chris's name. They said Gloria. Okay.
Accident.
Right. Do not get it twisted. The
How are
one
you?
time they talk about my top, the one time they talk about my
muted,
shirt,
Gloria,
you're
you're
going to try
muted.
to screw it up.
Hello?
Oh, Lord. Oh, I'm just talking to y'all. I'm going to say the trash all over again, okay? First time they talk about my top. The first time they talk about my top, when you trying to get me all mixed up with Crisette, I put on a nice brown top. I ain't going to find no necklace, but, I was trying to find a necklace. Because I'm trying to keep up with the Ellises, in Winning Wednesday, and I'm down here in Florida. And when I tell you I'm in Florida, ain't no rain down here, don't want to see none. It's sunshine. I'm in the sunshine state for real. It is sunny down here. However, the news is bad here. It's bad there. It's bad everywhere. There's news that's crazy. We got issues, y'all. We got issues. And this gun, when a firefighter walks into a firehouse and kills his two co-workers. Kills one, shoots the other one. This is like really crazy. I mean, and the thing sad about it is that you hear it, you talk about it a minute, and then you move on to something else. We used to stay and talk about that for 3, 4, 5 days. And it's just a sad state of affairs for sure. On the other hand, when I wake up this morning, I'm focused on thinking about what I'm grateful about. I'm focused on it because I want that to be the first thing I'm thinking about. Before I go into my prayer time, I want to think about what I'm really grateful for, because there's so many things to be grateful for. And I know the day is going to be filled with ups and downs and ups and downs. But I'm excited about this show. I'm excited about this topic. Is it black? Is it white? It doesn't matter. Maybe yes, maybe no, and maybe some other colors might be up in there. So I'm excited about this topic with a hat on, acting like it don't have no sunshine up there, no lucky. Go ahead, Sabrina Goodwin Monday, with your hat on.
Hello, girlfriends. How are you? It is a Winning Wednesday. A lot of rain in the Carolinas today, but we needed the rain, so we're grateful for the rain. I just hope it moves out by tomorrow because I'm a sunshine kind of girl. But all is well. All is well. You're right. You turn on the news and it's just heartening. It's just a lot. Issues to the left, issues to the right. And we are all in the resolution. We want to resolve the issues. So today we're talking about love, sweet love. Oh my goodness. I love the topic of love. So Chris, with no further ado, thank you for bringing this topic to us. Back to our host with the most,
All right. Thank you, Sabrina. Oh my goodness. When I say I'm so excited about this topic, and I'm super excited about the two amazing couple that were so gracious to come and be a part of the conversation. And I'm getting ready to bring them to the stage in just a moment. But I wanted to share this with you. In 1967, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in the Loving versus Virginia case that marriage across racial lines was legal throughout the country. Intermarriage has increased steadily since then. 1 in 6 U.S. newlyweds, and that's 17%, were married to a person of a different race or necessity in 2015, a more than five-fold increase from 3% in 1967 among all married people in 2015. It is now up to 10%, and it's a total of about 11 million in total. A growing share of adults say interracial marriage is generally a good thing for American society. Nearly 4 in 10 adults say the growing number of people marrying someone of a different race is good for society, up from 24% in 2010. Adults younger than 30, those with at least a bachelor's degree, they also identify as Democrat or lean towards Democrats, and they are the ones most likely to say this. And so we are getting ready to meet two amazing couples. And so I'm excited to bring to the show. One is from the millennial generation, and the other is from the baby boom generation. So let's meet Lauren. All right, Lauren is here, and Lauren Murphy. And we also want to meet our next couple is Cedric and Sam. Cedric and Sam. Now, let me tell you a little bit, about Lauren and Mike. They have been married, you guys, for going on 2 years. So they get ready to celebrate their second year anniversary, and they have such a cute little boy called MJ. And Mike was going to be on with us, but MJ had a little fall before the show, so he's taking care of MJ. So I know we'll get a chance to meet Mike at a later date. And so our second couple, Samantha and Cedric Macon, they have been married. Well, they've been together, you guys, for 29 years, and they've been married for 14 years. They don't have any children, but they do have 2 Siberian Huskies who are their fur babies, okay? I love my fur babies, so that's all good. So let me just tell you a little bit about Lauren. Lauren is pretty much, I consider her my niece. She and Kiera grew up together. They went to the same university, the University of Michigan, together. Lauren spent the night at our house on many occasions. Kiera spent the night at Lauren's house on many occasions. And so she is just a phenomenal young lady. I'm just so proud of her. Of course, she has her her bachelor's degree from the University of Michigan, and she has her Master's of Science degree in Broadcast and Digital Journalism from Syracuse University. Lauren has worked in Milwaukee for the Today's TMJ4, and she later was a news reporter in Madison, Wisconsin for the NBC affiliate. So I want everybody to welcome Lauren Winfrey Murphy to We Got Issues.
Hello.
Welcome. And then now we're going to meet Macon. I'm sorry, not Mike. We're going to meet Cedric, and I'm so excited that he is on the show as well on today. He and his lovely wife are with us today, and Mike and Sam, they have known each other for 29 years and have been married for 14 years. And he is, you guys, the director of graduation and degree process at WCCD. So welcome to the show, Cedric Macon.
Hello. Nice to be here.
And then his lovely wife is Samantha, and she is a special education teacher for 29 years at the Simpson Middle School in Flat Rock, Michigan. So let's welcome Sam.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Hi.
Hello. So, I mean, we have a lot of people on the show today, but we are going to dive right into the conversation. So I'm going to start with Lauren. And Lauren, just want to just ask you a few questions. How did you and Mike meet?
Okay, so Mike and I met on a dating app. The app is called Hinge. I was living and working in Milwaukee, and he was living and working in Chicago. And the two cities are about an hour and a half away from each other. So we connected that way. And it was like literally did not think anything of it when we met up for the first time. And now we're married with a baby. So it's kind of like a whirlwind type of thing.
Wow. So Lauren, I mean, that just opened up a whole lot of other questions because I never really knew exactly how you and Mike met. And so let me just ask you this. When you put your profile on the dating app, did you evidently you didn't limit yourself, okay, to just dating within your race? And so when you met Mike for the first time, was it an instant connection? Was it like, I don't want to say love at first sight, but was there anything when you met him and you saw that he was Caucasian that you said, oh, wow?
Well, I knew that he was white because I could see his profile too. And no, I didn't limit myself because I think maybe, I don't know, since I started dating, I've been open to the idea of dating outside of my race. And I think also just the way I was raised, it was pretty diverse in terms of the schools that I went to. So it wasn't like I'm just comfortable around people of other races. I'll say that. So I didn't limit myself. And when I saw him, for me, I thought like, this is a great guy. Like after the conversation we had, we did connect on a number of things that I found to be really special, just like our love for God, our prayer life, just the way we wanted to raise children, like if we had children, that type of thing. So that was special to me, but it wasn't necessarily love at first sight. It was like, okay, let's see what happens next. But if you talk to Mike, he'll tell you for him, it was love at first.
He better have said that about you,
Right.
Lauren. Absolutely. Okay.
Right.
So Lauren, let me ask you this. Was that your very first time dating outside of your race, or had you dated outside of your race before?
I had dated outside of my race before, so I wasn't unfamiliar with some of the conversations that come up, some of the things that need to be addressed or explained. And I think for some people, that's why they don't want to date outside of their race. They don't want to have to teach someone something. And I get that to a certain extent, but I think just as people that grow up in different households and from different communities and different socioeconomic statuses, we are teaching people about ourselves and about our families regularly, but it is a different conversation when it comes to race because then there's just a cultural difference. So some things do have to be explained.
Wow. Awesome. Well, we're going to move over to Said and Sam. Again, thank you guys for joining our show on today. So kind of want to find out, the same thing, how did you guys meet? And, was it uncomfortable, or was it something that you had been accustomed to doing, dating outside of your race?
Go ahead, kid.
Who wants to go first?
We met at a dance club in 1992, and it was just, I was always around people of different backgrounds, and it wasn't anything different, or it wasn't even a big deal. I never considered it being a problem. So when I saw him in the club, I just thought he was the most handsome person ever. So
Oh, wow. You know what, Sid, before you answer the question, we're getting ready to go to a break, and we absolutely want to know, how you and Sam met. And we want to ask you some other questions. Oh, we're going to get in your business today. Okay. We're going to get in your business. So you guys, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break, and we will talk right after this break.
Okay.
Hey, Facebook. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. I have loved reading what you guys have on the chat. That is very exciting. This is a great, juicy show. I love hearing about your families. I love hearing about.
Okay. Let me know. I do know a couple of people.
Tell Chris to mute. Mute your phone. There you go. So
I do know really that a couple of people are going. I'm sorry.
Mute your phone. Oh my goodness.
That a couple of people are going to call in. So just let me know. Okay, thanks.
We're gonna get it together, y'all.
Yeah.
Radio.
Okay, so thank you. Okay, so anyway, you guys, I'm really excited. People are calling in, people are dating in. This is so great. Want to hear about Millicent's grandchildren. I got my son's in an interracial marriage. He's married to a phenomenal Erica, and she's a Latino, and we love her. It's so much fun. So it is so exciting to hear different people's stories, their backgrounds, dating on the dating side, how you guys feel about it. It's such an interesting time, you guys. It's such an interesting time. They're talking about how the millennials, they just see things so very differently. And that is a big deal. And I understood today is Pride Month. So there's a lot going on with color. There's a lot going on with the fact that a lot of people are doing things uniquely, differently, embracing them. And I love what Sheila's talking about, Italian and Jewish. That's another, So it's not just skin color. It's all kind of things that come into play. So we love the fact that you guys are talking to us. Love the fact that you guys are commenting. Love the fact that you guys are tuned in, and love when I can look at my little green dot. Love the fact that you guys are sharing this with people. Love the fact that you're sharing it. I love is whether they're tuned in, not tuned in. It really makes a difference that they're tuned on by what they see, because you may not know what the topic.
All right. We are coming back. And we are talking about Black or white. Is love colorblind? We are talking about interracial relationships, and we have two amazing couples that are on with us on today. And so prior to the break, we were talking to Sid and Sam, and they were going to tell us a little bit about how they met. And so, Sam, you were going to share with us Sid, you're going to share with us how you met Sam. So tell us, how did you guys meet?
Yes, we met at a dance club in Westland. And actually, when I first walked into the club and saw her, I did think she was the most beautiful person I've ever seen. But I was kind of nervous because, of course, she wasn't Black. So I didn't know, if that would go over well. And I would say the majority of the club was white. And it was a white guy that wanted to talk to her, too. And no matter how I approached her or where I went, he would follow me just to see what her reaction was going to be. So finally, I went and talked to her, and I guess everything went well, because it's been almost 30 years, and she's still right by my side.
Wow. You know what, Sid? There's a little, we can't hear you as clear. I don't know. Do you have a headpiece on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's probably because it's a Bluetooth. Do you have one? Do you have any with the cord that you can use? Because we want to make sure that we can hear you clearly. Okay, and so while you're switching those, let me just ask you, Sam, when you started dating Sid, tell me about your family. I mean, was it something where they were shocked that you came home with a black guy, or was it just, hey, it didn't matter in your family?
It mattered to most of the family. Lucky I had
Okay.
a supportive brother who's very loving and, just understanding and just very open-minded. My mom, not so much. Was pretty much disowned for a while, cut off financially while in college. And things were tough, but, do what you gotta do, right? I mean, if I love him, I love him. I'm not going to give that up.
Okay, so Sam, can you talk to us a little bit about what their concerns were? I mean, tell us about the first time Sid met your family. Was it like silence? Was it shock? What happened?
Yes. Well, my mom knew coming in that when he was coming over that he was African American, and of course she's nice to his face, and as most of my family was. Later on, it's just those little comments or digs that people make, and you're just very aware. You're very conscious of what people are saying. So I have to live my life. They're not going to be around forever. My mom's not going to be there. I need to do what makes me happy. So I went to college. I got a job. I love my family and I will be there for them. But ultimately, I have to do what I need to do for me. And if that means I have to lose friends and family, then they're not my friends and family. We've had family members and friends who say, oh, it's against the religion. Well, I've never seen that and I've never heard that. And we got married in a Catholic church and had our Baptist uncle was in the ceremony as well. So I'm not sure what part of the Bible they were reading, but to me, I just listed what people say and I just go about my business. I don't have time to argue. I'll say what I feel and I'll defend us and live in my life.
Wow, that is really, really something. I mean, we've heard the stories before, and so I know, that had to be disheartening. But the fact that you said you were going to follow your heart, regardless of how your family felt about it, says a lot about the strength of the love that you had for Sam. I'm going to come back to you, Sam, in just a minute. Lauren, let me throw the question over to you. How was it when your family first met Mike?
It was fine. I feel like I don't know that there was an issue because he was white, because they had met other guys that I had dated who were white.
Okay.
And so I don't think that was a big issue. I think once we got to the topic of marriage, it may have really solidified, like, oh, okay, Lauren is going to marry someone who was not a Black man. And I think that as a parent, like, I feel like my father kind of felt that a little harder, because it's like, well, was I not a great example of a Black man or anything like that? But the craziest thing about it that my mom and I talk about all the time, Mike is so much like my dad. Like, they are opposites when it comes to their ethnicity and their stature, but they are so much alike just in the things that they do, the things that they say. They are born their birthdays are 6 days apart. Like, they're just so similar. So I think that once they really got to know Mike, my dad especially, all of that kind of just went away and they accepted him for who he was.
Wow, that is so awesome. Sabrina, I think you had a question for Lauren or for Sid and Sam.
Yeah, I think we were going to go to Sid. He was going to finish his story about how they met. We still want to hear from Sid, right?
Right. Go ahead. Yes. Go ahead, Sam.
Sid.
Sid. No,
okay.
It's Sid.
Oh yeah, just like I said, we met in the club. Lou, stop. We met in the club, and when I first saw her, I thought she was the most beautiful person I've ever seen. Literally, I was so nervous to talk to her. I didn't know how to approach her. So I want to make a good impression. Now, the club we in is, you wear jeans or whatever. And I actually went and bought a suit just so I can impress her. And I went and bought a rose. Now, I just see her from a distance. I haven't said anything to her. I don't know if you guys heard me before, but I had this rose for her. And everywhere every time I thought about giving it to her, this white guy would watch me to see what her reaction was going to be. So I gave her the rose, and I guess everything went well because 29 years later, she's still here. But as far as like my family's always been open. It wasn't about color with them. It was about whoever you fall in love with, whoever makes you happy. As long as they make you happy, the color didn't matter.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well, I know we all have different races in our family. I mean, every family has the interracial couple, or you got a cousin, everybody, right? I was surprised, Chris, that it's only 10% of the population of interracial marriages in the U.S. That seems low to me, because when I'm out and about, it seems like I see interracial date. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe since they're not married, they're not counting that. Maybe that's what it is. But I was going to ask, with the country's great racial divide right now, we're so polarized in so many different areas. How are you handling this as a family, friends, that kind of thing? When you see it going on, when you see the news, just interested in how you. I'll go to you, Lauren, and then I'd love to hear from Sid and Sam. How are you guys handling this great racial divide in our country right now?
It's heartbreaking. Oh, sorry.
You can go ahead.
Sorry. I just think it's heartbreaking. And we were just captivated to the TV when we were watching all the stuff that was going on, and we watch it every night. And it's scary. And we're always conscious of where we go and what areas we travel through. And it's just, people say, oh, with time, people are tolerant, people are understanding. It just seems like more people are more comfortable now to be racist. And some people think it's okay. Like they have a right to be racist. And it's really sad. It's a really tough time.
Yeah, actually, I would like to ask Lauren a question, because I want to know if it's different for her than it is us, with she being Black and Mike being white. Because when me and Sam go places, if we get pulled over, like we got pulled over one time, and he was asking her questions, and he just looked at me and said, "Where's your ID?" And she was like, "Why are you asking him for his ID?" Because he's not driving. He was like, "Well, I'm asking him, where's his ID?" And then he wanted me, he got an attitude with me. I don't know, I'm not even driving. Like, what did I do wrong? So it's been a lot of times where the police officers were not kind. I mean, she was driving one time I should say, she was driving a truck that's in my name. So he ran the plate. So when he pulled her over, I guess he thought that I was going to be in the truck. And when he pulled her over and saw that was just her, he said, "Oh, I was looking for somebody else. You can go ahead." He didn't even ask for registration, license, nothing. He just said, "I was looking for somebody else. You can go ahead." And I'm like, really? So I wonder if I'd have been in the truck and he pulled me over, would he have said I was looking for somebody else? Going, no, he wasn't. So I just want to know if Lauren had that situation, since her husband's white and she's Black. When she get pulled over, do they act a certain way towards him because of her?
I really can't speak to that. I mean, with being a white man, there is privilege that comes along with that, and we have conversations about that. We've had to have a lot of just in-depth conversations about what that looks like and how our child will be perceived in this world, because he won't have that same privilege attached to him. And Mike's privilege isn't transferable. So when I show up in this world, I show up as a Black woman. MJ shows up as a Black boy or biracial boy, but he will never, neither of us will ever identify as just white. So that's something that we just have to talk about. We haven't had a situation like that before, so I can't really speak to that. But I know, and he knows, that he has the privilege of a white man in America. So he carries the burden of educating those who look like him within his family, his friends, and just ignorant people who sometimes they may not receive something when I say it, but when somebody who looks like them says something, it's a little more tolerable. So that's the work that he has to do, and he is doing. So those were the conversations we were having at the height of the Black Lives Matter movement and after the death of George Floyd. But we were having those conversations before, but that's when we really started talking about them. And then also bringing his family in on the conversation, because they're from small town Indiana and they have the privilege to just like tune out. But now that your grandchild is half Black, now that your daughter-in-law is Black, these are the things that you have to start paying attention to. You have to educate yourself on it because it's important. It was important before, but now it's a little more personal for them.
Wow, that's so powerful, Lauren. That's so powerful. You know what? We have a caller. We have Chauncey on the line. Chauncey, are you still there? Doing well.
Hey, Colin, we got issues. How you doing, Cliff?
I'm doing well. Just coming off a nice holiday weekend, trying to get back in the groove.
Absolutely. So talk to us, Clark. My husband, Chuck, has the privilege of marrying you and your beautiful wife, Erica. And now you guys have two beautiful sons, and Gloria is beaming from ear to ear. So talk to us about, a little bit about this topic. I know that you're married to the beautiful Erica. She is Latina. And so I don't know, do you feel like because she would be considered a minority as well, that you guys haven't had any major issues by being interracially married?
No, I mean, not particularly on that kind of what we're kind of seeing today. No real big issues like that. But I mean, I think that, people tend to forget a lot of times that even within minority communities, there can be racism. Mm-hmm. I think there can be, prejudice within their own community. I mean, some people don't want you crossing at all. So, I mean, if I've gone to Puerto Rican Day parades or different type of things and gotten looks a certain type of way, I mean, sure. I mean, I don't care about those looks. But, it can happen.
Wow. Okay. So, talk to us about, being in that kind of environment. And now that you have two young sons, do you think that, there will be an issue with them trying to, I know sometimes there's a problem with issues with children of couples who are interracially married, and so you have their children. Sometimes they have a problem with trying to figure out how to self-identify. Am I Black? Am I white? Am I biracial? Who do I hang out with? So what kind of conversations do you and Erica have with your sons?
So they're still 3 and 5 now, so they're fairly young, but I mean, we do have conversations about, things of like, how do we teach them certain things? Like, for example, for her, I know I was just listening in and, some of the things going on. I mean, it was somebody here from my perspective of the things going on and dealing with the police, for example. Now, I'm like, no, I'm gonna advise my sons at a fairly young age of how to deal with it. And, she might be thinking, well, why are you going to make them afraid of them? I'm not trying to make them afraid of them. I'm trying to keep them alive, right? I want to make sure that they know how to act. And so it can be sometimes where there's, discussions on when to let them know about those things. But I think the way that we are, we let them know, yes, you're Black, yes, you're Puerto Rican, and so you have this heritage, and you have that heritage too. And they're young, so they're kind of like it. I think it's kind of interesting for me because a lot of the kids all around, there are many, I guess, mixed kids. There's more mixed kids than I remember I would see growing up. So.
Got it. Gloria, we can't hear you. Sure. Sorry, I'm going to ask you a question. You know, as you brought Erica home to us, or Erica brought you home to her parents, was there anything there that was great or not so great that you could lend to the listeners? Is there anything like that?
Well, I always tell this kind of funny story because when I went and met Erica's parents, there was a lot of Spanish speaking going on in the house. And only way to find out is to speak fluent English. Okay. Yeah, I first got there. But no, it was completely fine. I mean, you know, I was not the first, you know, black boyfriend she had at the time, and you know, Erica was not the first, you know, black I had at the time. So it didn't feel like there was any type of issues going either way. It was actually kind of fun to learn more about different cultures, and because I mean, you kind of see things on TV, but you really don't know. And then you kind of, you know, get ingrained in it, and you learn a lot.
Got it. Yeah, you know, we got issues. We be telling everybody stuff. So I remember when Clutch called me and said, "Mom, I got a girlfriend." I said, "Okay." He said, "Guess what?" I said, "What?" "She's of color." I said, "Oh, of color." I said, "Okay, of color." He didn't say of color. I said, "Okay, of color." We laughed really, really hard because it was his first of color. Okay, before that it wasn't of color, and so that was sort of interesting. But we laughed about it, and he's always been so extremely comfortable. His persona is he's comfortable everywhere and anywhere, and it's always been that way. So I'm not surprised, and I did ask him when he went home to Erica's parents for the first time. I said, you know, was everything okay? You know, did it feel any different? He's like, no. Every time in Spanish, but I don't care. You know, like he walks in there like, bam, I'm here. Hello, world. And so I think different people will deal with it different ways. Well, Chauncey, we appreciate you taking time. We're really busy for calling in. We got issues and sharing with us your story. And so give the kids a hug for us. And again, thank you so much for calling in.
All right, thank you, guys.
Okay, so you guys, I have some questions that I want to ask you because, of course, we know that, you know, with interracial marriages that there are some problems, some issues that many couples experience. For instance, said you talked about the fact that, you know, when you got pulled over, when your wife was pulled over, you were in the car, you could tell that the police officer, you know, was feeling some kind of way or looking at you differently. And so I totally get that there are things that happen to interracial couples that doesn't necessarily happen to, you know, couples that aren't interracial. So some of the things that we want to know is, are there times where it becomes uncomfortable when you're with family and maybe, you know, the family is talking about, you know, racism? For you, Sam, you know, that issue comes up with, again, Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, and so much of those issues especially are permeating in the news right now. So how do you, deal with those kind of conversations? And same thing to you, Sam. How do you guys, if you're if you're with Sad's family and they're talking about, you know, racism and the things they feel, how do you interact? How does that make you feel?
Ladies first.
Well, his family totally gets it. They live it. So they understand. My family, on the other hand, are very sheltered and very, I don't think their eyes are very open until you live it or live with it. Or if you're able to empathize with it, you don't understand what it's like. You know, my family, it's always someone else's fault. If someone's being abused, if someone's being killed, it's because they didn't follow the rules or the commands. And I'm like, that's not what happens. I mean, we try to explain the situations and, you know, people don't deserve to be shot and killed when they're sleeping in their bed. There's no justification. So there's situations, and we talk about them. Sometimes younger family members understand it. They're younger, they're more open-minded, and they get it. The older ones, we talk about it, but I'm not arguing about it. And they usually don't talk about. I don't feel like they talk about too much when you're there.
Because I'm
How
here.
you feel. Yeah.
So Sam, you said they don't talk about when you're there. They talk about you when you leave.
Right.
Yeah.
I said it. Yes.
That's what I was going to ask, Chris. I was going to make a statement thanking Chauncey for calling in, because from watching all of the programs this weekend about the Tulsa Race Massacre and just the political climate like Sabrina talked about, it's so, when you gave the stats earlier, Chris, about the percentage of people that feel it's good for our nation, it's so wonderful to know that you have, I know it makes a difference when you have an attorney, for example, like Chauncey, who understands both sides. It moves us forward in society. And so I know that it would make a difference, helps people to be more accepting. My question that I wanted to ask is, I think there is my feeling is that the Black community, I don't know if this is stereotypical, but the Black community is more accepting. It's kind of what you were saying, Sam. And so I guess I would ask Lauren, have you found that the Black community in general as a community is more accepting than the white community, or is that real stereotypical and it's just very, very different, or it might depend more on demographics and parts of the country? For either of you.
From my experience, I feel for the most part, Black people are accepting. I just feel like as a culture, we tend to be. But that being said, I feel like I have had moments with friends who, like, they're happy for me. They love that I've found love. They don't necessarily love that it's not with a Black man. And so sometimes I feel that. But in terms of Mike's family, I have always felt accepted by them in particular. But sometimes just going into white spaces as a Black woman, like especially now, I'm a stay-at-home mom and I do a lot of mommy and me things, and we're at the playground and there are a lot of white moms and they will look at me differently. And I don't know if it's racism or ageism or a mixture of the two, because I feel like they're trying to figure out if MJ is my child or if I'm his nanny. So there are times when I don't feel accepted going into white spaces, or I feel like people are trying to figure me out or size me up and that type of thing. But I feel like for the most part, as Black people, we are a bit just more accepting and welcoming of people and differences and celebrating that.
Wow, that is so true. That is so true, Lauren. Before we go on, we do have a caller. Janice is on the line. Are you with us, Janice? Janice, are you still there? Good.
This is Lauren's mother. This is Lauren's mother. Hey, Lauren. Thank you so much for calling. Talk to us, Janice, about being the mother of a daughter who decided to go to the other side, who decided to marry someone that isn't of her race. Well, I describe myself as a mother of a daughter who married a man who was her soulmate, who married a good man, who married her father. And, it for me, it really, with Lauren, it didn't matter the race. I specifically said with Lauren. It didn't matter the race. I just wanted her to find, her true love. And Michael is such an amazing young man. He really, really is. So he's real easy. Wow, that's awesome. So you were not surprised. And talk a little bit about it, Janice. In your family, are there other people in your family that are married, interracially married? Oh, yeah. Black. You know, one of my closest uncles is married. Aunt Rachel, who's a white woman, and they've been married over 50 years. And you know, and my kids have seen that all their lives. And it really isn't important. I do, now that they've had children, I am, you know, want only the best, of course, for MJ, my grandchild, and it makes me think of my cousin Natalie when she was dating her mother, Aunt Rachel, who was a white woman, would tell me that Natalie is only dating biracial men, and she felt like she'll never get married because the pickings are really slim. My cousin Natalie is just about to turn 50. So, you know, as a big cousin, I would, you know, Natalie, you know, you can date whatever you want. It doesn't have to be la la la. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, you people are people. We are who we are. I think you see division and maybe a different socioeconomic status than you will so much with the racial status. But I don't know, because Trump has shown us something totally different. But no, Lauren did well. She married her father, we all say, and he's just a different color.
Oh, wow. That is so beautiful, you know, to be able to say that. And so, you know what, you absolutely answered that question, that love is colorblind, especially when, you know, you can marry your father, he's just a different color. So that says a lot about Mr. Winfrey and who he is. So, Janice, thank you so much for calling and We Got Issues. We truly appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So, you know what, Sayed, let me put you on the hot seat for a moment. Let me put you on the hot seat for a moment. You know, and listen, we got issues, so we're going to turn it up a little bit. The girlfriends they sitting back. They know we're going to turn. He couldn't find, you know, a sister, because, you know, they say, especially, you know, for Black women, you have a lot of Black men that are incarcerated. So, you know, the numbers are kind of low. And so when we see that, sometimes there is a side eye that's attached to it. So Sayed, can you talk to us about that part of it? I mean, have you gotten pushback? I don't know if you have sisters or relatives. Did anybody ever say to you, come on, Sayed, you mean to tell me you couldn't have found a Black woman to marry?
Let's see. No.
Uh-oh, you quiet, Sayed,
No,
you're quiet.
Actually, I have not one person in friends or family that said you couldn't find a Black person. Because all my friends, actually all my friends that are Black, either they have white girlfriends or they have, like my brother, he has a white wife and I have two nephews. So the only time I've ever heard somebody ask me why couldn't I find a Black woman was a white guy. When I pulled up, when I was at the gas station, when I had met her and at the club, and I asked her what were they doing after the club, and I asked her, did she want to go get something to eat? And her friends say, yeah. So we had to go get gas, and this white guy pulled up, straight up country redneck, pulled up and said, you couldn't find you couldn't find your own kind of date? Why you have to date ours? So I'm not going to tell you what I said, but that was probably the only time I ever heard anybody say you couldn't find your own kind to talk to.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. Okay, girlfriends, have you all ever had that conversation or had somebody have that conversation with you about, black men, marrying white women? And I think, Sabrina, talk to us a little bit about, some of the celebrities and some of the, individuals who are married to white women. We have individuals that, they are out there, they are civil rights activists. They're on the battlefield fighting for the cause, but they decided that love, was colorblind.
Yeah. And it's been this way for a long time. This is nothing new. It's prevalent. It's evident. It works for some people. Some people don't like it at all. Some people accept it. We have a running joke in my family. It's like, okay, when the family gets together, oh, what is she bringing to the cookout? Okay. Is it potato salad with the raisins in it? Okay. And so, the cultural differences are real, but you just embrace the family members because at the end of the day, they're family. They are family. And so some of those celeb mixed interracial marriages, we know David Bowie and Iman, they've been together forever. How about Seal and Heidi Klum, Cuba Gooding and his wife, Naomi Campbell and her billionaire Russian boyfriend, Vladimir. How do you say Vladimir? Vladimir, her billionaire man, okay? Zoe Saldana and Keith. It's a little bit of everything out there. I was just with Alfre Woodard this weekend. Her husband, nice. Roderick Spencer. That's an interracial marriage. They've been together for a long time. And so it's out there. People make it work. And I guess what we found is love is colorblind. Girlfriends, I'd like to ask you, have you ever dated outside of your race? Gloria, have you ever dated outside your race?
Nope. I had to think about it for a minute, but nope. I was thinking, nope. What about you, Katrina?
Well, the interesting thing is I went to an all-white high school. I could count the number of Black folks in my class. Literally, it wasn't until I was a junior in high school, and still, no.
Katrina, yes or no? Yes or no?
No.
Yes or no.
And the answer is no. And it's just very interesting. That don't mean I can't have another comment about it.
Go ahead, Katrina.
This yes or no. Crisette, what about you, Crisette?
No, I've never dated outside of my race. I never have.
Wow. You guys are.
What about you, Sabrina?
Go and tell a long story like Katrina did. Go ahead.
No. We got to get some diversity up in here. All y'all the same. All of y'all are the same, okay? The same.
Boring on the talk show.
Hey, you guys, it's been real. This has been a real conversation. Black or white, is love colorblind? And today we found out that it is colorblind. Thank you so much, Sid and Sam and Lauren, for adding to the conversation. We truly appreciate your stories, your perspective. Thank you guys for listening to We Got Issues on 9:10 a.m. The Superstation. We'll see you on tomorrow on Thursday at 6 p.m. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much.
Woo! That on Facebook was hot. Thank you guys. We're so excited. Cedric, Sam, Lauren.
Thank you guys so much. Sid and Sam, thank you so much. I know it was a last minute deal, but Patrice told me, she always talking about, I shouldn't say she always talking about you, Sid, but you are one of her favorite people on the job. And I said, you know what? Let me call and see if Miss Cedric will come on and share on today. So I truly appreciate you being on with us today. And Lauren, where is how's MJ doing? Is he feeling better?
He's doing all right. You want to see him? I can bring him in.
Yes, we want to see him.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Hello.
As with anything, it makes such a difference when you get to know people. It's always makes a difference when you get to know people. You know, we could look across the way, you know, get the side eye, but when you get to know people, great people are great people in every color. So.
Right. At the end of the day, people are people for sure. Okay, yeah. I hear a baby in the background. Where are your fur babies? Said and sent.
Oh, hi,
hey.
We're having a tough night.
Oh,
he's so
my
cute.
gosh, she is
He's
cute.
so cute. Hi, AJ.
Can you win?
Hi, y'all TV.
So cute,
Thank
Mom.
you so much. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So much.
All right, bye-bye.